A moment that froze an entire studio isn't something you see often in live television. But that is exactly what unfolded when a soft-spoken teenager named Jonathan Antoine stepped under the lights of Britain's Got Talent. As a reporter reviewing this now historic audition, the reaction inside the room remains one of the clearest indicators of how powerful a performance can be when it strikes the public unexpectedly. Observers described the atmosphere as electric, with even the crew members pausing mid-movement as if sensing something rare was about to unfold. Jonathan, only 17 at the time, had walked onto the stage with an almost disarming humility, offering no outward sign that what was coming would shift the trajectory of his life, or momentarily stun Simon Cowell into silence. The audience, initially uncertain of what to expect, leaned in as soon as he opened his mouth. What followed wasn't simply a strong audition. It was a cultural moment that spread beyond the entertainment world and into mainstream news cycles. Clips circulated internationally within hours, prompting headlines about an unexpected vocal powerhouse and a teen who defied every assumption. This introduction set the stage for a story that would grow far beyond a single TV segment, becoming one of the most rewatched talent show auditions of the decade. Behind every breakout star lies a story no one reported early, and Jonathan Antoine's beginnings illustrate just how much talent can develop outside the public eye. Born in Essex in 1995, Jonathan's relationship with music didn't begin in a studio or under professional mentorship, but in school halls and community programs that recognized his unusual vocal strength long before television did. Teachers recall a quiet student with notable shyness, a young person who preferred blending into the background rather than stepping forward. Yet whenever he sang, that timid exterior dissolved almost instantly. His voice, even at age 13, carried a maturity that drew comparisons to seasoned classical performers. Local competitions began spotlighting him, and one early win at a regional music festival hinted at a future that would eventually burst into full visibility. As a reporter reviewing these early accounts, what stands out is how little Jonathan seemed aware of the scale of his own talent. Interviews from those years depict a student who enjoyed singing, but never projected the ambition or self-promotion commonly seen in young performers. That reserved nature later became a striking contrast to the power he unleashed on stage during his Britain's Got Talent audition, a contrast that helped shape the public narrative around him. His early life wasn't about chasing fame. It was about a young man developing a world-class talent almost by accident, guided by teachers who insisted he had something extraordinary. Some performances rewrite expectations in seconds, and Jonathan Antoine's 2012 audition stands as a prime example. As a news reporter reviewing the footage and reactions from that night, it's evident that everything about the moment defied the usual format of televised talent shows. Jonathan did not arrive alone. He appeared as part of a duo with his friend Charlotte Giaconelli, intending to present a heartfelt rendition of the prayer. At first, the judges' expressions reflected cautious curiosity rather than excitement. Jonathan's visible nervousness suggested he might struggle under pressure, and viewers at home likely felt the same tension creeping in. Yet the second he began singing, the shift inside the theater was unmistakable. Audience members straightened in their seats. Judges exchanged shocked glances. The production crew, normally bustling behind the scenes, paused to listen. The strength, clarity, and emotional weight in Jonathan's voice created a response not often seen on live television, the sense that viewers were witnessing a once-in-a-generation moment. As his performance built, a stunned quiet fell over the room, the kind that signals something beyond entertainment, genuine impact. When the final note faded, the applause erupted almost before the judges could process what they'd experienced. This audition quickly became international news, circulating rapidly across platforms and drawing millions of views within days. Analysts across entertainment media referenced it as a defining talent show moment, noting how dramatically it altered public perception of classical crossover singers. Even the toughest critic can be blindsided, and Simon Cowell's response to Jonathan's performance became the centerpiece of countless headlines. As a reporter examining this reaction, what stands out immediately is the uncharacteristic pause, a silence from Cowell that was not a dramatic setup or a television tactic, but a genuine moment of speechlessness. Those who watch Cowell regularly know him for his decisiveness, sharp wit, and willingness to critique without restraint. Yet when Jonathan finished singing, Cowell didn't jump in with commentary. Instead, he looked genuinely taken aback, even momentarily lost for words. This single moment became widely replayed in news coverage, with outlets highlighting how rare it was to see Cowell visibly impressed before forming a thought. Eventually, Cowell called the duo's audition extraordinary and acknowledged Jonathan's immense talent with unusual emphasis. That rare moment of stunned appreciation became a key factor in why the audition went viral so quickly. It wasn't simply that a teenager had a remarkable voice. It was that he had managed to disarm the industry's most famously demanding judge. Media analysts later pointed to this reaction as a catalyst for the global attention the audition received. Cowell's reaction became proof that Jonathan's ability wasn't accidental or embellished by editing. It was undeniable, immediate, and strong enough to break through the persona of a critic who rarely shows such vulnerability on screen. Some careers begin with a victory, others begin with a moment, and Jonathan Antoine's trajectory belongs firmly to the latter category. Although Jonathan and Charlotte ultimately finished second on Britain's Got Talent, that result quickly became irrelevant in the face of what followed. As a reporter reviewing industry developments after the show, the speed with which the duo secured a recording contract was striking. Within weeks, they signed with a major label, an opportunity typically reserved for winners or established artists. Their debut album charted impressively, signaling that public enthusiasm had carried beyond the audition and into marketplace support. Analysts credited the momentum to the emotional resonance of Jonathan's performance, which had created a bond between him and viewers that didn't rely on the show's final ranking. The public saw authenticity and vulnerability paired with undeniable technical skill, a combination that resonated across ages and backgrounds. Reporters noted how the duo's early interviews reflected a sense of disbelief mixed with determination, as though they were still adjusting to their sudden visibility. This phase of Jonathan's career demonstrated how a single moment of raw talent, amplified by national broadcast, can catapult someone into the music industry even without a trophy in hand. The launch proved that Jonathan's appeal wasn't situational, it was sustainable, and audiences were ready to follow his journey beyond television. Growth doesn't always happen under the spotlight, and Jonathan Antoine's transition from duo member to solo artist illustrates exactly that. After Jonathan and Charlotte parted ways professionally, Jonathan embarked on a solo path that allowed him to explore his voice in new directions. As a reporter tracking his progression, what becomes clear is how significantly he developed artistically during this period. He began releasing albums that showcased broader musical influences, ranging from classical and operatic pieces to contemporary and crossover interpretations. Critics noted that his technique matured, his confidence strengthened, and his performance style became more refined. These releases demonstrated that he wasn't relying solely on the legacy of his Britain's Got Talent appearance. He was building something independently, step by step. Reporters covering his solo tour highlighted how loyal fans had remained since the audition, often describing the audience's emotional response as a continuation of the connection first sparked on that stage in 2012. This chapter of Jonathan's career emphasized resilience, adaptability, and the kind of growth that occurs when an artist leans fully into their craft. His solo work proved not only that he could stand alone, but that he had more to say musically than what the public had initially witnessed. Some moments fade, others imprint themselves on public memory, and Jonathan Antoine's audition falls squarely in the latter category. More than a decade after the performance, it continues to accumulate millions of views, often resurfacing on social media during discussions about talent, resilience, or unexpected breakthroughs. As a reporter analyzing cultural impact, the enduring relevance of this audition speaks to more than musical skill. It speaks to relatability. Jonathan's story, a shy teenager with extraordinary ability, resonated with audiences who saw in him a reminder that talent can emerge from any background. His performance also introduced many viewers to classical crossover music, a genre that previously felt distant or inaccessible to younger audiences. Educators, vocal coaches, and industry commentators have repeatedly cited Jonathan's audition as a teaching example of emotional delivery, vocal precision, and the importance of authenticity on stage. This lasting influence transformed a single televised appearance into a long-term touchstone for aspiring singers worldwide. His story is frequently referenced in articles exploring the power of televised talent platforms and how unexpected contestants can reshape public interest in entire musical styles. Jonathan's legacy continues to grow, proving that the impact of one moment, delivered with honesty and heart, can extend far beyond the stage it originated on.